Alright. Here we go again. More Kerbal Space Program. More career mode, more missions, more money. Getting the contracts. Alright. So we've got actually a few things. Try to take care of right away. Oh, this one never expires. I'm gonna take that. Alright. Today we must honor our fallen comrades. Also, is there a way for me to change their, Oh, yes, it's right here. Ah, I was looking for that the other day. I was looking for the option to change these outfits. Really don't know what they do at all. If anything, probably not anything at all. It's probably purely aesthetic. But, let's see. A few things to try to do today. We need... I really need to clean up this junk is what I need to do. Well, we've got a pair of missions right now on their way. 2-month encounter. Each of those is about 4.5 hours away. One's just lagging behind by 20 minutes. We do have a rescue contract. One of those will be fulfilling. The other will be deorbiting some space junk. Right here. For our station pusher. Do have to keep an eye on Munsat 1. We need to get a final orbit for the Valentina Kerman Memorial Station. Because this is a ridiculously high orbit. And way out here, our Minmus probe, about to be Minmus satellite, is 1 day, 2 hours away from its maneuver. So, yeah, quite a few things going on there. I'm probably going to go back to Mun Focus. I'm probably going to start working on a final orbit for the Valentina Kerman Memorial Station. Even though I feel like getting more stuff attached to it before I do that, it's just not going to be convenient to do the burn later. Anything that we're attaching radially, which is now everything else that we'd need to attach, would kind of suck. It would wobble a little bit as we adjusted, I suspect. But this has everything in line, which is good. Nice and sturdy. Very minimal wobble. So I'm going to try and work on this orbit. Determine what's going to be the best here. I feel like a low orbit's going to be good because it'll be easier for us to launch and recover landers. And our satellites are collectively right around 1 million meters out, which is pretty high up. Kind of thinking I might even do like 50K, maybe less. 30K maybe? 30K might be what I go with. So, let's make sure that I've only got this one engine enabled. Yeah, that one's the one that's showing for shutdown. That one's deactivated. I know these ones are deactivated. sure we're controlling. From here. Make sure we're actually facing retrograde, which we're not. That's a good thing I checked. Close those doors. Okay. Should be lowering our apogee, which is working. Perigee is now slowly rotating to be opposite of us. We have a very serious thrust limiter on this, by the way. Now, I am burning through liquid fuel, which we do need for our contract. We are quite a ways away from the fuel required to complete our contract. Need to have, I think, 2,000 units of fuel aboard. We've got 951 and we're burning it at the moment. But that's alright. We can do follow-up missions without too much hassle. Make sure there's no real wobble here. I got that thrust limiter down nice and low. Let's put this at 50,000. That way I know any lander coming up will need to gain altitude to get to it. And that'll allow it to catch up to the station after a launch. Actually, this might be able to help Munsat 1 with the high altitude readings for temperature. Do nicely. Very nice. Now that perigee is going to be 4 hours, 3 minutes away, so it'll be probably pretty close to where we need to do our maneuver, our capture maneuver for one of these vessels on the way. And we'll want to circularize this. Nice, easy maneuver. plan with this maneuver node, because I really want this to be spot on at 50,000. Almost got it. There we go. That is the burn I want. Now it's going to read like we don't have enough fuel. That is totally bogus. This just doesn't know what it's reading. This is, however, going to really accelerate as it gets to that perigee. Okay. That looks pretty good. What contracts do we have going on here? We've got, yep, our space station. The Valentina Kerman Memorial Station is looking pretty good. Do need the extra fuel. Temperature surveys of Mun, we know about those. The stack separator landed at Kerbin, we gotta do that real quick. Orbital station around Kerbin. That one's gonna be a big thing to tackle here. More Mun. Land on Minmus, that'll be a while. Position satellite specific orbit of Minmus, that's our Minmus probe. Specific orbit of the sun, that will be a while. Transmit data from the surface of Minmus, that'll be a while. More temperature scans. Rescue cabin, missions on the way. Landing gear and stack separator, suborbital trajectory, that'll be that debris deorbiting. This guy right here. And I've got a vehicle on the way to deorbit it the rest of the way. I could start just time warping into positions, but I feel like I could do something in the meantime. All those missions kind of all hit at the same time. And it's still a while away. Could do a rescue mission. Why do I keep clicking on that? Okay, let's see. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we can do some organization. Take the SPD stack. Don't need that anymore. Okay, now. We do have a lunar lander. Which, if I cut it down, would I think be suitable as a reusable lander. Did I unlock the ladders? I unlocked very basic ladders. Let's trim this down a little bit. Those a little different, so I can get the ladders on. Because we have a Kerman who runs out of fuel, it'll be a little easier to get on board, as I tend to like jetpacking around. There we are. Possibly do it like a trio of these, like that. Cut down the weight even more. That might be what I do. And then these tanks, I no longer need to make those detachable because we want this to be reusable. So I could do. I don't want to do this. Of them like that. That might be fine as is. Nope. They don't have anywhere near as much fuel as those. That would really short fuel this. I want to do that. On like that. Are those significantly heavier? Not really. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Aerodynamics. Oh, let me see. You press Alt F4, it automatically takes you to the launch pad. I did not know that. Always glad to learn shortcuts. Now let's see. Don't really have anything good for the aerodynamics on this, huh? Just kind of stuck making it look ugly. Don't press it. Trixie, Trixie. Do here. That just looks, those tanks look ugly. I do want additional tanks. I don't want them to be removable. These look slightly less ugly, although they do kind of clip a little bit, but that's fine. Jam the leg a little bit. that'd be suitable as a reusable lander. Which is away. 175 tons. Well, wanted less than 3 tons, so I might just... Oh, it's significantly lighter, okay. Now I would need... That's one thing. If this is reusable, I'd need it to be able to dock to the station. On its own. So I'd end up needing... RCS tanks. And we'd be doing any maneuvering most likely with fuel quite low. Center mass would be right there. That's inconvenient. It's gonna make me end up having to place multiple. Have to use maybe the go anywhere thrusters. Here's what I could do. I could put a pair of those on. And we have forward, back, up, and down. Would need left and right. And I would need to be able to counter the force of this trying to rotate. That would be right next to the ladder if I did that on the other side. Just drop them on the tanks and look silly. That does look silly. Okay. And then that just kind of aims down into the tanks. It's not very helpful. Alright. This would be braking thrusters. Really don't like my options that much. No, that doesn't really work either, does it? Oh, yes it does. Okay. Yeah, just put it right on the tanks. Why not? There we go. Cheap solutions. By that I mean lazy. Relatively close to the center of thrust. Or center of mass, I mean. At full. It's like dead on. How heavy is that? 3.26. Okay, so over the weight I wanted. Much like me. Over the weight I wanted. That's... I think that's doable. For a reusable lander. So we can use that to keep at the station. I'm just going to save that guy. And now I can remove it from here. Yep. Cool. Now I no longer need that as a subassembly. Alright, we still have our K15G1, IS3G2. This one, yeah, not overly fond of. This one might be going away relatively soon. There's not much call for strictly escape velocity use. And of course all these are working just fine as they are. Lunar transfer, LKO, and KEO. Although realistically this one's going to end up being more like a KEO and this one being more like a Molnia or Kolnia in this case for Kerbin. I don't know why they bothered to change that with a K. We'll come up with something in a minute for getting more fuel up on the station. Probably use the 15-ton launcher again. But real quick in the spaceplane hangar, I wanted to do something to entertain myself. Just wanted to see what the parts I have. What I could do for a possible vertical launch space plane, if I even have anywhere near what I'd want, which is looking like a fairly definitive no. A fairly definitive no indeed. Oh yeah, that would not be pretty. Yeah, we need some more some more options before I attempt something like that, I guess. I mean, I could do like a even that. Not great. Not great at all. Better. Still not great. Just where I poke buttons until these wings do what I want them to do. Because I don't know what I'm doing sometimes when it comes to these things. I just kind of mash buttons like an idiot. Times. There we go. Like that. Some elevons. On the front. It's actually not terrible looking. I mean, it still doesn't look great. Lift needs to come forward a little bit. little bit. And I could do some craziness if I really wanted to. Force the center of mass backwards as well. Get in the way of the elevons. Let's do it like that. Because I would need some reaction control. If I was going to use this in space. Hard part of this and not letting it do total craziness, because this, for example, going left to right, would just rotate it on a pivot around the center of mass. So I need something to cancel it. So I would need like two of those. Same thing would happen using these. So I'd need one right there, one right there. This doesn't end up weighing 7 tons. How I feel about that. Always throw a inline reaction wheel as well. Need landing gear. We do have the new landing gear. Which I never figured out which way these are supposed to face. Never really did make sense of that. Looks right. And we'll be able to put these on the wings. Ooh. It's not going to work for me. I have some kind of structural thing to offset that a little bit. Not really. Not a lot of good options there. I have an idea what I could do. Increase its function just a little bit. Want to be in a pitch-up situation at all times, basically. So that's something that's undesirable. Kind of defeats the purpose of me doing that, doesn't it? Actually, it doesn't look horrible aside from the wheels not being aligned. Why are those off tilt like that? There we go. And then we put our air intakes. And for the purposes of a test, I don't want to test this loaded. Put a core on. Get some struts just to make sure nothing goes too crazy. And then we can start putting batteries on there. There we go. Like that should do. And then Communitrons for the sake of the test. Try not to get too far out of range here. I'll give it a shot. See if it just completely fails, or if it actually flies. Because this actually wouldn't be that bad of a thing to stick on top of a rocket, I don't think. Be fairly controllable from a vertical position. So let's just make sure no crew are inside, so I don't kill anyone. I already killed enough. And yeah, let's just. Oh, I need to upgrade the spaceplane hangar. So let's see, that'd be the XJ. 3. Let's upgrade the spaceplane hangar. I didn't realize I never did that. Makes sense since my record with jets is absolutely horrible. Shoot. Why did I do that? Just misclicking today. Yes, yes. There we go. Yeah, upgrade it. Now, let's try launching. We'll have to do a staging check just to make sure that rocket engine doesn't come on right away. I probably should have launched it actually with the rocket tank empty, because that's how it's going to be flying if it's launched in a vertical position. But that's all good. Whichever. So an unmanned test. No RCS. Seems kind of underpowered, which is fine if it's just a re-entry vehicle. Oh, that's what I'm forgetting, by the way, radiators. Probably a good idea on this thing. Some more static radiators. Well, I'll be darned. Alright, we got some altitude. Speed is life, altitude is life insurance. This is not very good in the climb, which is to be expected. For the design intent, at least. And screw it, let's test it with the rocket engine. Yes. So, I'm trying to see if this design is at all feasible. Because I can tweak it a little bit and possibly launch it vertically on top of the rocket. And I was thinking this would be a return shuttle. That'd be a good way to get 5 Kerman into orbit all at once. It is a little bit heavy. It is a little bit underpowered. But I am burning through fuel at a much faster rate than I realized. But again, that's all fine. If it's a return vehicle, I don't really need to do much more than coast. And steer. Whoa! That is some aggressive steering. It does seem like I could probably stall it out fairly easy. Between the low power and very strong turning. Let's just see how it does as a glider. See if I can land it at an awkward angle. This will be our landing test. And unfortunately, we no longer have Jebediah Kerman to try and crash land. So it's just going to have to be drone enabled. Let's lose altitude, gain speed. Pull up a little bit. This actually does seem oddly stable. Seems more stable than any girlfriend I ever had. Let's see. There is still yaw control, although it's not the best. I don't tend to use yaw that much, so I think that might be okay. Yeah, emergency parachutes would be a good idea. Probably on the final product I'd have that. I would have to, at the very least, add a docking port as well for docking with the upcoming Jebediah Kerman Memorial Space Station. I'm going to try and lose altitude and then kind of stall speed at the last minute. Yeah, this is oddly easy to control, I say, as I misalign the runway. Yeah, that was easy. This might be something to test if we can launch vertically. That was unnervingly smooth. I feel like there's something tragically wrong with it because it went that smoothly. There must be, right? So let's see. Now, it would still have, obviously, some orbital capability here. Not sure how much that would really do for it. Like, it does seem like it would be... Again, a little underpowered even for orbit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think something will go tragically wrong at the most inopportune time. This is typically how things go. So what I would do, I would put a pair of these in. I would take out the drone core that I just put in. Bring the weight down. Get rid of these. No longer need the struts. Move these back a little bit. Fine. Throw a docking node at the top. So I can dock with the station. Yeah, it's like coming up there on weight. This is a lot heavier than something that like we've really launched before. Hashtag inside job. Thought you might appreciate that. Let's see. What else could we do? What else could we do to make this a little better? Could do drop tanks, depending on where the center of gravity is. So let's see, with the legs retracted, where is my center of mass? How does it line up to the center? Wow, that is surprisingly in line. I thought that'd be way off. It is a little low. But, wow, that's way better than I expected. Like, that's almost usable as is. Now, the center of aerodynamic, yeah, that is a little high. It's high into the back, which is fine for flight, probably not so good for throwing on top of a rocket. Now, I do need to also throw radiators on at some point here. Try and bleed off some of the heat as it's coming in on re-entry. Radiator panel. Radiator panels like that. And as you said, probably some parachutes, just an emergency landing mechanism. Which, if there's no parachutes, it would be when the fuel's gone. Which, the dangerous thing, as the fuel runs out, this does push the center of lift way behind the center of mass, which is usually good for stability, but bad for control. That might be okay. I don't know how I feel about that. So we'd want the parachutes to be more like right here. Yeah, I'm going to save this, and I'm going to revisit this when I've got a little better rockets here. Because, I mean, it's not so bad empty, but fully loaded on fuel does get a little bit heavy. So we don't have anything that's in that range for a good launcher for this. We've got a good 3, 4, 5, and 15-ton launcher. We don't really have anything that'd be good for 10. Yeah. Save that for the moment. That at least was a good test flight. I'm going to start time warping, though. Since we do have a lot of missions going on right now. So, Valentina Kerman Memorial Station is 4 hours and 45 minutes away from its next maneuver. Our satellite here is 4 minutes 21, or yeah, 4 hours 21 minutes away. 5 hours 42 minutes away from its periapse, which is where it really needs to burn. And our crew launch vehicle, 5 hours 40 minutes from its maneuver. So really, those have a while to their maneuvers. So the real question, get rid of those, get rid of those, get rid of those. It's really going to be between the Minmus probe and the Valentina Kerman Memorial Station. And the Minmus probe is almost, it is actually a little over a day. It's a day and 2 hours till its maneuver. So that's easy peasy. We're going to time warp the Valentina Kerman Memorial Station. We're going to take it all the way to its modified orbit. And while we're doing that, added bonus, monitor Munsat. Munsat 1. Getting all the science. Let's do 100 times warp. Got a lot of moon-oriented stuff going on today. We got the Minmus probe going that way as well. But we've got these moon temperature readings to get. We've got the Valentina Kerman station going into orbit around the moon. We've got a pusher craft that was from the station trapped in a crappy orbit of the moon that we're going to deorbit and finish its mission, since it does actually have some science that's going to take on its way down to the moon. And we have a rescue mission in moon orbit as well. So we have a rescue craft already on the way to come pick him up. So a lot of moon stuff. This might be a good science pass for the Mun Sat 1. This thing has just been in endless science gathering mode. It just is constantly coming across new points for science. I don't know if this will get close enough on this pass. We shall see. Most likely not, by the looks of it. Yep, not on that pass. So we'll switch back to the station just so we can do a faster time warp. We'll be able to time warp 10 times faster being in this higher orbit compared to Munsat. We'll let it come around for another orbit. Hopefully it doesn't... its orbit doesn't go completely past that one science scan. Which is what it looks like might happen. I could try and mess with the orbit a little bit. But looks a little closer. We might make it this time. It'd be nice if I got that one. That'd be a contract completion, I think, if I got that one scan. On the dark side of Mun. Yep, looks like the orbit went on either side of it. That's annoying. Ah, that is frustrating. Oh, that's fine. Next possible maneuver, or next possible science gather, is for a while on Munsat 1. So we'll go back to our maneuver here. And this will be to circularize our orbit. It's a 9-second burn. So we're going to start right about 4 seconds away. A little bit of correction. A little bit of correction. We still will need to launch more fuel and a lander to this station. Orbit's pretty close to where I wanted it. So this will be a refuel point, and this will be where we launch the lander itself down to the moon. So this will be a pit stop on the way to future moon landings. We'll have another station in Kerbin orbit, so we can just get people up, use a lunar transfer vehicle, and be good to go. Now, with that, we should have had, yep, our first vehicle on its very, very close maneuver. Maneuver is just an hour away, so not too close. I thought it was closer than that, but it's fine. Add maneuver. We want to get us just into an orbit first off. We've got a lot of maneuvers going on, so I just want to focus on getting that taken care of first, and then I'll worry about correcting it later. 15-second burn. So this little satellite will just be, not even properly a satellite. It's just going to dock onto that pusher and just deorbit it the rest of the way, hopefully. This is a lot of delta V to do this this burn here. I don't know how we're gonna do on fuel. Let's just check the min-miss probe. How close is the min-miss probe to its maneuver? 3 hours away. Okay. So we'll warp just in front of this maneuver. If this rescue craft runs out of fuel, it would just be the saddest thing ever. I don't think it will. But we'll see. Just the rest of the way in. I'm gonna wait till 7 seconds before for our node. And that'll be the start of our burn. I'd overdone it a little bit, but frankly, went pretty good. Now, the debris that we're worried about is this guy right here. So we are going to set that as our target. We're going to have actually a really close intersect to try and match it. That might be a really harsh matching maneuver, but I wonder. I wonder. I made that joke before on this. I need to not make that joke too many times. Wow, did that just do what I think it just did? 20 kilometers. 23. Ascending node, descending node. Ascending node, descending node is right here. Okay. So now this would just be a timing difference. Huh. Well, okay. Seems pretty reasonable. So this first burn is entirely way too small to try and do at full thrust. I'm going to just tone that down just a tad. I like 4-second burns because it's an even number and it's easy to time. There we go. Perfect. So we're going to do our burn 2 seconds before the node. If I'm able to intercept that pusher, I'm going to be just all kinds of amazed. This might like set the precedent for deorbiting missions. At least on our program. Listen to that, you don't even hear the engine. It's such a low thrust. And it was seemingly perfectly executed. There we go. Just backing up my theory about 4-second burns being the best. Minor adjustment that we now need to make here. And it's all timing related. So we want to do right here. Okay. 0.7 again. Alright, perfect. And that maneuver is in 4 hours. And uses just 16.9 meters a second. And then we have to immediately try and match target velocity. Alright. This might be a crazy intercept. Set up our thrust limiter. For that upcoming maneuver, and then move on to the next maneuver. There we go, 40% for a 4-second maneuver. Alright. Making progress already. Now, the crew launch vehicle. The clone of the last vessel Jeb stowed away on. Is already past perigee, so I made a boo-boo there. But that's fine. We can still slow down and make it. Cool. And our target is way down there. So let's make this a... Let's make it a target. We'll do our ascending descending node maneuver first. Since the further out you are, the slower you're going, the easier it is to make an inclination change in terms of delta V. I do have to also do retrograde burn to keep this in check. Perfect. That should do it. It's coming up in only 25 minutes. .2 delta V. It's going to be a 3-second burn. Multi-missioning. Let's time warp in. right before our maneuver. Set this to 75%, so I can get a 4-second burn like I like. Oh, I never even deployed the solar panel. I should probably do that before we run out of power, huh? I think I would have learned that from the Nedbo fiasco. Alright. Should have also learned that this is going to now cast a shadow onto the solar panel unless I do that. I guess it'll angle. There we go. That's fine. Whatever. Alright. Wonderful. We're on the same plane. This is a 0.0 ascending, descending difference. So, now we can plan to match apogee. Let's start there. Yep, and then we're going to probably have to wait a few orbits to really line up. So what I'll do is I'll match his apogee as close as possible. Yep, about the same altitude. Yep, perfect. And then once we get there, we'll do a maneuver to lower what will then be our apogee, so that the timing on the next orbit brings us exactly in line. Because why not? A Hohmann transfer for the win. And this maneuver is now 46 minutes away. We're getting near the point where the Mimas probe should be coming up on its maneuver, I believe. Wherever it just went off to. Hello! Mimas probe. So 43 minutes for that one's maneuver. This one is still 2 hours. Okay, I'm crazy. I keep thinking this is coming up. Okay, this is still a good while from its maneuver. So yeah, let's just warp into our maneuver. Get lined up. I want this next maneuver to go exactly right, so we can really do this nice and easy. Make it a 45%. Yep, there we go. 4-second burn. Alright, so 2 seconds from maneuver node is where we'll start our 4-second burn. Solar panels, that's what I'm missing on the space plane. Wow, that's a weird correction burn. Yeah, but our apertures are really close, actually. Okie doke. That's what we wanted. Then we'll add a maneuver node here. And what we want to do... Actually, I think I had it one of those times around and I'm just not paying attention. Yep. I did. 1.8. 0.8. 3.1. Right click on that. It's really hard to like manipulate this fine. There we go. 0.8 is going to be as good as we get, it looks like. If I can get it back to 0.8. Oh my god, come on. 1.1. It's the tiniest... Sometimes these maneuver nodes are just too sensitive. 0.9, I'll just take it. I'm good. I'll take the 0.9. So, basically all we're doing is when we get to where our paths cross, because we have such a wide orbit compared to this one, we're just going to slow down just enough that we'll time one of our returns exactly as it's coming around. And that is a beautiful thing. Now I need the tracking center to see what on earth we are gonna do. Because there's a lot of maneuvers going on here. Kinda hectic. Still nothing new at mission control. So let's see, get rid of debris. So Minmus probe is coming up in 1 hour and 22 minutes. The SPD is coming up in 2 hours, 35 minutes. And the crew launch vehicle is coming up in 1 day. So Minmus probe is next. Finally. And hopefully we're in radio contact this time. We've missed 2 attempts at this maneuver already with this probe. It does not have reliable connection to Kerbin. And right now is a good example. Right now I do not have contact. So hopefully we regain it a little closer to the maneuver here. Or at the maneuver would be fine. I'd settle for that. Because basically it needs Kerbin to be at a specific rotation so that the main tracking arrays can actually pick it up. And if the main tracking arrays are picking it up, we're fine. But if they're not, no contact. This might be another no contact. This might be a maneuver we miss again. Come on, reestablish signal. I tried launching flyby probes. Hey, we reestablished signal. I tried launching flyby probes to try and get some semblance of a relay going, but no. I did not realize how fast I was reaching exit velocity with that vehicle that I used, so it just kind of vroom right by. It just provided no usable connection at all. Now we're gonna have a 1 second maneuver, which I don't like, so I'm gonna put this at 25% thrust. Make it a 4 second, 7. Okay, math is failing. There we go, 4 second maneuver. And this maneuver is going to do a couple things. Some of them apparently incorrect. So I can fix that real quick. So the point of this is to fix the maneuver node. Oh god. Need to just raise just a little bit. I think I told myself I was going to perfect this when it came around, and I just didn't. Last minute adjustments. Last second adjustments, more like it. What are we doing wrong here? Oh god. Fuck the scroll wheel. Fuck the scroll wheel. Don't fucking do that. You piece of shit. Come on. Why do they link the scroll wheel to that? That is horrible. Now I need to try and figure this maneuver out again. I really don't like that the scroll wheel can manipulate the maneuver node. So I'm trying to fine tune this. No. Knock it off. Knock it off. Oh my god, I really get mad at this sometimes. Come on. How do I flip this? No, I don't want to delete the node. I want to manipulate it, please. Oh, Jesus. Because I passed the maneuver. Fine, whatever. We'll do close to it, and we'll set up another node to try and fix it. That's the best I can do right now. That is just infuriating. Now we gotta maneuver in 2 days. I'll do that. Alright. Because we need to make these ascending, descending node corrections right about there. Gotta do it right on point. And I might as well combine maneuvers where I can. So something like that would be pretty good. If I could just... Why does it do that? Something like that, maybe. That would be a good maneuver. Now, hopefully this time it doesn't get messed up. Coming up in 2 days. And hopefully we'll be actually in connection this time. Finally in connection, and we missed a good opportunity there. It's very infuriating. But this would be good. Anyway, back to the Space Center. What's coming up next? Alright, next up. 1 hour and 8 minutes away is the refueler here. Fly that. And we'll warp this to its maneuver. Get it the rest of the way in. This one's going to be a fun one if this works. If it does work, then for some reason my docking ability goes way through the roof in moon orbit, which I guess makes sense if you're in really wide orbit. It is actually easier to dock in wide orbit. Okay, tiny little correction burn. Okay. Good. It's actually improved our intersect somehow. Didn't expect that reaction. Add a maneuver just so we can see what's going on here. Now, this is going to be one hell of a maneuver here. Because I just realized we're in... how do we end up in two different... Somehow that ended up in retrograde orbit, and we are in prograde orbit. Is the station in the retrograde orbit? No, it's in prograde. So we're in the retrograde orbit, right? No, we're going the same way as the station. So how did the debris end up getting flipped around, I wonder? Doesn't make a lot of sense. It came from the station. Oh. I think I know what happened. So I did see the camera flip for this to deorbit. I think I actually deorbited and then kept going all the way to a retrograde orbit. Wow. Okay, so that might not be all that much delta V to match this after all. We're definitely going to want to be at full throttle for this. And let's mess around. Let's see what kind of maneuver would I have to do to completely flip around orbit and start to match this guy. Is that going to be like a 19-second burn? Okay, cool. That's just fine. That's dandy. I'm gonna just rotate that a little bit. Rotate that a little bit. At that point, it's pretty much what we'd need to do to match orbit. So it's really like a 24-second burn. So what I'm actually going to do is 12 seconds away from this node is I'm actually going to burn... Wow, it's actually telling me exactly. I pretty much nailed it. Just aim retrograde to target for 24 seconds. This is going to be an interesting rendezvous. Heading at each other at high velocity. So we're going to just completely change directions. So I did plan that darn thing correctly. It had enough fuel to deorbit. In fact, it had so much fuel, it deorbited and then turned back into a retrograde orbit. That is funny. So that was user error. Engineering was fine. Who knew? Thankfully, it seems we've got enough fuel to try and attempt this. Hopefully that leaves us enough fuel to deorbit the whole shebang once and for all. That is too funny. So this one I'm going to be a little cautious. I'm probably going to do it like right at 13 seconds just so we have a little bit of a head start at decelerating. And then making corrections. So maybe right at 14 seconds even. Go. We're now deorbited. Still aiming retrograde to target. Now we're in retrograde orbit. 4 kilometers out. Alright. Not too shabby. Have an odd amount of fuel. So now what I want to do is time our next encounter. Because while that was a perfect setup burn, executing it is not so easy. Okay, so mostly that's a timing. Nope. That's right at ascending node, so I don't really have to worry about real correction there, although I can make the ascending node correction right here. Just correct that little bit as well. Oh, that's going completely the wrong way. Whoop. Okay. So if I do those 2 burns, we will basically be very close together for a very long time here. Let's see if I can flip that back. I'll play with that second maneuver a little more in a second, I think. So I got 1:44 seconds to try and do that. Set up timing. There we go. There's a good pair of maneuvers. You get any closer? No? Yeah, 0.4 is going to be our best. Okay. Alright. Not so bad. Not so bad. Extremely minimal burn. I just refuse to leave space debris around the moon when everything else is so clean around the moon. So we're going to wait till 2 seconds to burn. This has got to be my first prograde to retrograde docking maneuver. Okay. That actually, again, improved our separation from 0.4 to 0.2. So when this maneuver comes up in 9 minutes, we will be ready to go. This will be even less of a maneuver. 1% thrust. That gives us 8, so 2% thrust. 2% thrust. Alright. Let's aim at the target. And time warp. Man, it's a shame rescuing Edbo wasn't this easy, huh? I don't know if I can still talk shit about Nedbo, though, now that he is our premier Kerbin. He's the only one that's ever been on the moon. I mean, what's his competition for Premier Kerbin now? Bill and Bob? Come on. It's like that one was perfectly executed. So our intersect is at 0.2. It's our true intersect's at 0.2. And we stay almost exactly on them. Over the course of an entire orbit, we only separate by 19.5 kilometers. So matching speed should be very easy as well. Alright, and that is in how long? That is in 2 hours, 25 minutes. I'll put a maneuver node there so we can track that in the tracking center. Again, we're going to see which maneuver comes up next, which should be the crew launch vehicle. Really should be the crew capture vehicle. Position of Munsat 2 in adjusted orbit of Mun. No. Let me put it this way. No. I've got clean orbits. I'm not adjusting that. They can take that contract and they can shove it. Alright. Alright. Crew launch vehicle 3 hours. Wow, actually no. So we got 2 hours till this guy, 3 hours, 20 minutes till this guy, and then we've got now like 2 days till miss probe because we missed that window. So yeah, we can go ahead and do our docking maneuver. Which I just realized we didn't put any RCS on this, did we? After all this, no RCS. I'm gonna have to try for a hard dock. It is a good thing that this is in moon orbit. Yep, no RCS. That's fine. We'll make it work. We will make it work this time. I'm confident because of how well everything else has been going on this one. Passed. Warp to next maneuver. Alright, here we are at maneuver. We're right next to the piece of crap debris. Go. Okay, we've matched speed. Now we can flip to it. Still have power to aim. So we're gonna, or I thought we did. We don't have power to aim this guy right now because it needs direct solar panels, right? No. Huh? What's its problem? No radio contact? That's hard to believe with the amazing radio network we have. Has power. Has radio network. Huh. Don't know why it doesn't let me control this. It's got a core. Command state, no telemetry. What does that mean? Comm signal NA. So it is saying it doesn't have comms. That's bizarre. Well, anyway. Doesn't matter too much. Won't worry right now about rotating it. But what's amazing, right, is I've got reception on this thing, which has crappier antennas. Wow, that's very confusing. Am I going to lose connection as I get closer? Is that a dead spot? Do I have a dead zone in my satellite network I just don't know about? It's very odd. Don't see why I'd have a dead zone. Should have plenty of satellites in range. Yeah. It's picking up from like a half dozen satellites. That's really odd. Yeah, I get the signal's a little weak because I'm going through relays. But I'm getting 90% signal. I don't get why this craft wouldn't be able to do anything. It's got power. It's got a relay antenna that's better than these antennas. It should be better than these antennas. So since I'm doing this hard dock mode, I'm just going to have to line myself up one axis at a time. Okay, so let's see. That's my target. Let's aim a little more that way. Not by much. And we can cancel speed when we get really close. Not looking terrible. this would just let me control this for a moment. I don't know why this doesn't let me control this. I'm actually getting kind of bothered by this. If I could rotate this right now, we'd be docked. Extended idle. I don't get what's going on here. Like, it doesn't even give me the option here as comms. Okay, so that's aiming right at it. That's aiming a little left of it. See, maybe I can wait for it to just rotate around. What axis is that spinning on? Okay, that's pretty close, actually. It'd be a lot easier if I had added RCS to this, huh? Where are we? There we go. Gotta aim where it's gonna be. Come on, you can do it. Boom! Okay, talk about docking in hard mode. Now I don't have control. So we're gonna have to control from here. Okay, somehow that now means we don't have control of either. How does that make sense? What? Hold on. There's something broken here. That doesn't make any sense at all. Is it because I flagged it as debris at one point? But then why, if I'm docking with it, doesn't make any sense. See if it figures itself out with a reload. There should be no reason I can't control this. Okay, now I can control it. Okay, so it's just being weird. I'm just impressed with myself docking with no RCS on that while it was spinning. I should get some definite bragging points on that one. I'm gonna shut this down. That's not a very efficient engine. This, however, is a very efficient engine. And what we'll do is when this gets to its apogee, we will go ahead and we will slow it down the tiny bit left to a Mooner impact. So now that maneuver's in 2 days. Looks like Munsat 1 is coming up on some good stuff. How's our CLVB coming along? Maneuvers in 42 minutes, so we'll do that next. See if I can even remember what we were doing here. Ah, yes. Okay, I got you. Ah, yes. If you want to do the old game references. So we're going to need to get this to perigee. And then it will have its maneuver rather quickly. I'm going to track our Mun 1 satellite, which is coming around while we're doing this. Looks like we are not doing so great on signal. It's fairly weak signal right now. But we are getting 90% bounce signal through relays. So overall, not so bad. I don't know why it's showing like it's way worse. Signal strength 17%. Okay. Where's Munsat 1 on its current orbit? Down here? Okay. So I'll watch our maneuver and I'll watch Munsat 1 in its positioning. Feeling it's going to be fairly close between the two. Looks like it's going to be Munsat 1 first. We got 15 minutes. Okay, so we got that says 55, and then we got to switch back. Mark the closest place on the orbit, just so we know whereabouts we should see the signal. Kerbal Day 69 still. We're getting a lot of stuff done very quickly. Yep, there we go. Log temperature. Radio that off. Check a box. Fantastic. Now we can switch back to the CLV. Very precise maneuver. Almost there. So 1 second to burn. Looks like we perfectly executed it. Our actual intercept, however, is off a little bit. That's disturbing. See if we can't correct that at apogee. Yeah, we can definitely correct that quite a bit at apogee. On the 0.8, which is where we had it before. Whoops. Okay, and then what's the separation really? And actually raise this ever so slightly. Had it. Oop, had it. Come on. Oh, no, actually, we need to bring down. We need to decelerate a little bit. Okay. All right. Nope, nope. I wish there was like a fine-tune mode. Alright, 0.7 just seems like the best we're going to get. So I'm going to stop playing around with that. Maneuver node is in 2 days, 5 hours. How does that make our next maneuver? A lot of multitasking. Oh, our science went up a little bit with that temperature scan. That's good. Okay, 5 hours till CLVB. 1 day, 4 hours till Midmas probe. And 4 hours till this node. I probably could do that maneuver change for Munset 2 without there being too much of an interruption, huh? Because it is the polar one. I might consider grabbing that contract after all. Might. Now let's just let's track Munsat 1 for a second. Because it should get these other 2 sciences and close out a contract, actually. At least that's what it looks like. Good, we're not time warping too much. Yeah, looks like we're gonna nail it. Let's switch to Munsat 1. All right. Finally, a Mun temperature contract that goes smoothly. Aim downrange. See the temperature scanner a little easier. That's about where we should see the signal that we're getting a new zone as a flyover. So any moment now. One sector down. Should be entering the second sector. I don't see the signal for it. Oh, there we go. Bingo. That's a contract done. Very nice. I still gotta do this stack separator landed at Kerbin. I'm gonna do that right quick. Let's go back. Multitasking. Okay. Here we go. Oh, a long day. So which stack separator is it saying it wants me to check? TS18. This guy. We are. Does this ugly contraption? That was cool. Got our contract. I made a little missile there. It doesn't know that that's what I wanted to do, so it's like, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. Here's your flight results. But that's what I wanted. That is what I intended all along.
Oh,
Shepbury, low orbit, and Kerbin. I mean, I could be doing these. But I do see I have enough science thanks to those temperature scans, by the way. I can unlock one more thing. And that was a side mission of tonight. I wanted to unlock new engines. 374, sea level. Make sure that's actually worth it. It's 216. So I got that one at 80%. 160 would be 366 versus. Yeah, this would be a really good replacement engine. I was thinking this actually earlier. This would be a really good replacement engine for the launch system we have. And the Cheetah, I'm not so sure about. Its vacuum impulse is very good. Its sea level is god awful, but the Bobcat is good like all the way through. So that could potentially be a thing. And of course we get the mainsail, which is a big boon. Kodiaks are kind of, I don't like the Kodiaks that much. Just to make sure before I click the button that there's not something else I want. This grabber would be good, but just not at the moment. Monoprops and control. Better command modules, or Advanced exploration, that's going to be coming up. But I'm going to need the better launcher for that anyway, so we'll do the better launcher first. Its better relay antenna is tempting as well. And the TD-06 decoupler is also needed. But I'm going to go straight for this. We're going to do it. And let's see if we can't come up with a New version of our launcher. It'll be the Gen 3 version now of our K3 Moon transfer. So this whole time we've been using this Reliant engine on 80% thrust and a pair of thuds at full thrust. So with a lot of optimizing over time, that's what we figured out was going to be good. But yeah, the Bobcat should be better. Reliant running at 80%. At sea level, we should be getting. Well, even let's check SL. Yeah, so I mean, efficiency's better already. But in terms of total thrust, we should be getting 80% of this. That's 160. And then full on these. So that's another 216. So yeah, 366 compared to 400 thrusts. Pretty close. We actually probably toned this down a little bit. Put it at 90%. And its efficiency, 290 compared to sea level 275, sea level 265. Vacuum 310, vacuum 305. Vacuum 310, so that even lines up. So it should just be a solid replacement, and it'll save us a decent chunk of money. So we'll go from a 12,750 credit launch vehicle to 12,750. To 11,610, so it should just save us money. Because I want it to fly almost identical, put it at a 90% thrust limiter. 90% would make it. Now my brain's not working. 360. So the other one's going 366. It's pretty dead on. So there we go. This will be now Gen 3. I don't know why this changed. Wasn't it lower? Don't know what that's about. Anywho. So this will be the K3 G3. You know what? We're going to start renaming these. Instead of the Lunar Transfer, this will be the geosynchronous launcher. Or, I guess this would be the Colnea. I guess Colnea would need more energy than geosynchronous, depending on the Colnea orbit you want. So it's not really a totally effective moon launcher. You do have to use the payload fuel. Okay, trash that. Now, I want to do the same thing to the existing KEO. Make it Gen 3. This has the same thrust limiter of 80%. And again, we want to get the dollar value here. This was at 12,380. So remember 12,380. Yeah, this becomes 11,640, so also cheaper. So a good generational upgrade, having this engine unlocked. And the standard LKO rocket really I don't think will change at all. Well, this is the G1. This should just be the same, really. Actually, I missed an update on these as well. So I'm gonna have to do that again, because I missed better aerodynamics. So let's see. Put those on. Same price, right? Yeah. Better. Look at that. Sexy. And this one is the KEO. The Komiya. Update that one. But as I was saying, the LKO launcher, there's really not much to update here, aside from those cones. So I don't think I'm just going to update it at all, because I really don't use it. It's not a functional change at all. I mean, it's a cheap launcher. It's good for getting 3 tons to orbit, but I don't often need just 3 tons to orbit. More often, the 5 ton is the real good option here, which would be this guy. Anyway, that was just my distraction for the moment. I can also start working on something new now that we have the mainsail. Overthinking as usual. So we could put a nice vacuum engine like, ooh, how's this guy? Skiff. I don't really think that's gonna be my choice here. It's got a good high thrust. It's got a good thrust for its efficiency. I don't think that's going to be wise. Yeah, this might be an okay choice for a second stage. If I really look at it. If I think it's still going to get use inside the atmosphere. Yeah, let's do that. And then TD-25. Switch over to main engines. Actually, I didn't even consider what the skipper would look like. Yeah, skipper's not as efficient, and wow, is it more expensive by the looks of it. 1,500 versus 5,300. Does have a lot more thrust, but the efficiency's not as good. It's not as important in the upper stage engine. Wow, okay. Want to see how quickly we get up to our tonnage limit here. Not so bad. This could be the station launcher we're looking for. Something like this. Of course, some solid rocket boosters wouldn't hurt. That could possibly be good. Yeah, that could actually be pretty good. All right, I'll reinvestigate that later when I feel like doing the math. And actually, what I probably will do is try to line that up to being something similar, thrust to weight ratio of our existing K3 series. Since I know the K3 series are reliable, I want to try and mimic them. But anyway, back to maneuvers. Try and get a few more maneuvers done tonight. Because boy, are there a bunch of them to do. Let's see. We've got 3 hours till this one, 5 hours till this one, 1 day, 3 hours to that one. So I don't think we're going to get around to Minimus Probe tonight, unfortunately. But I do want to get the science for, and the contracts, I should say, really, for bringing this sucker into a D-orbit. Smashing into Mun. So I've got some experiments to carry out on it, sort of, kind of. Some contract stuff. So let's just warp to its maneuver. Once that one's got a long time till it's lined back up with its next scan here. Just in case I see it lining up, I'm ready to cancel this time warp. Nope, no worries of that. Sorry, 27 minutes. We'll do the rest of this here as well. I don't really have to wait for the maneuver for this one. We're at close enough to be good enough. And there we are. At that point, we'll have an impact. Just want to make sure we don't flip our orbit again like we did last time. We can go in a little faster. Got 4 hours, pretty much, until we're where we want to be. But since we are now on a suborbital trajectory, we can test out this one at least. Run test. Alright, so there's one contract complete. Wherever it is. There we go. This guy. Test a stack separator on suborbital trajectory over the month. So now we just need to get ourselves within 100,000 to 110,000 meters. That is oddly specific. It needs to be suborbital. So I do need to monitor this very closely. Now, we got 4 hours. So let's see when the maneuver is coming up for the crew launch vehicle to go rescue our stranded crewmen in moon orbit. There'll be another contract complete. Oh, we did get a decent amount of science from that landing gear test. Surprising. Okay, we need... Oh, feeling my brain check out for the day. Need to check, let's see where we fall for, next maneuver. CLVB is in 1 hour 47 minutes, so we'll do that one next. Crew launch vehicle type B. All my very unoriginal names for rockets and for craft. I mean, NASA's just started naming stuff like space launch vehicle, space launch system, like. So I guess I'm not that bad, right? Low bar, low bar. Wow, this is such a tiny maneuver. This doesn't even tell me where to aim. Guess right there, because it's swiveling everywhere. Or is it saying the complete opposite of it? Doesn't even really know what to tell me to do for a maneuver. That's interesting. So give me a maneuver node yet? Does it give me like an idea where it wants me to do? Nope. Wow, I'm gonna be like on my own then. What's our intersect anyway? At 2.4 if we do nothing? Might just be the better option. Because that's ridiculous. What if we do something like... No ascending, descending node are fine. What if we do something like here? And intentionally spend more delta V. Oh, so it's splitting this off. Actually misaligns us. About here. Do a radial change. Separation 2.1. No, it's making it worse. That's making it better. Until it made it worse. 1.4. Okay, does it at least give me a maneuver this time? It does. Alright.